Hi everyone, I'm Cecilia Samms and I'm here to share in our video series, The Power of Instinct. Instinct is our inner guidance system. It helps us to make choices in our lives without thought. It shows up when we are on a drive, on a walk, in a conversation, just anywhere. Anywhere we are in our day, in our lives, we might get some information that says, go there, do this, speak to this person, raise your hand. And sometimes your hand goes up when you don't even think about it and you didn't intend it to go up. You just all of a sudden it's like, oh, here I am in this moment and I'm doing this thing that I didn't realize I was going to do. So instinct can play with us in many, many different ways. But it's really there for helping us along our path and to help us to make different choices that will make things easier for us. So it's really easy to see in the animal kingdom when we look at a flock of birds and they're all in formation and they're all heading in one direction, and in an instant they shift direction and everybody goes in the other way. It's like, how did they know? Who told them? Who was the signal person that said, let's do this? It was within them, all of them, listening together as one. They are one unit. They are one. And it's beautiful, it's powerful, it's harmonic, and it helps the flock choose the right path, choose the right direction, and stay together. It also helps us on our path when we have desires, when we have something in our hearts that we really want to live. I share this with you. When I was young, I loved horses. I loved animals, but horses were my deep love. I was in elementary school and we would draw horses, and this group of friends of mine, we would get together at the recess and pretend we were horses. We would have our horse stuffed animals and we would play with the horses in so many different ways. It was so much fun. My family didn't have the money to get a horse, so I found my way with horses in completely different manners. I did live in the horses world. At my school, they had a 4-H club for horses, and so I was part of that. And we would meet every week, and we would learn about horses, and we would study their bodies, and we would learn the parts, and we would learn about the tack, and we would learn about how to take care of horses and the food that they ate and the breeds. And it was just so much fun. And we would even have outings. We would have outings to go to some local stables, and the farrier would be there, and we would watch them shoe the horses and trim their nails. And it was just fun because everybody loved that we were there. Everybody enjoyed answering our questions and letting us pet the horses. And then we would also get to brush them occasionally. It was just wonderful. We got to live in the horses world, and none of us had horses. It was just wonderful. Then we had one outing that was very, very special. We got to go on a trail ride. This was much anticipated. We were just so thrilled to get to go on this trail ride. And we get there and everybody gets their horses and we get on and we start going down the trail. And we're walking and the pace starts picking up, and now we're trotting and it's really fun. And we even got to canter a couple of times. And it was so amazing and wonderful to sit on this horse. And I was on the trail for at least half an hour before I remembered this is the first time I've ever been on a horse. And I thought, wow, this is amazing. This is so incredible. Look at what I'm doing. I know how to sit a horse. I know how to make him turn. I know how to slow him down, speed him up. I know how to sit easily as they change their gaits. I wasn't afraid at all. I wasn't, wondering or asking people, what should I do and how do I do this? I just knew. My body responded. It was like the horse and I were communicating in a different way. It was so powerful and so natural. I just knew. And that was my first real understanding of what instinct was. I didn't even think about instinct at the time, but looking back, that was absolutely instinct taking over and helping me to live my love, what I wanted to do. So our horse club continued on, and we grew up, and I go on and graduate, get married, divorced, and I'm in a time in my life when I really need to love again, and I really felt drawn to return to my love for horses. And this time it's different. This time I'm grown up, and this time I have my own job, and now I can think about getting a horse. But I'd never owned a horse, and I didn't know anybody that had a horse. So I went to some stables that were near the house, and it was really backyard stables. It wasn't really big. There was maybe 30 or 40 horses on any lot. And I just walked in there. I got this hit to go right now to the stables. And I went and I just started asking people and talking to people. I said, hey, I'm here to learn more about horses. Does anybody need help with their horse? And this woman comes around the corner. She'd heard me, and she is 8 months pregnant. And she says, I need help with my horse. I need help. Yes. And I'd never met her before. And we started chatting, and we got to know each other. And she introduced me to her horse, and she showed me her tack room, and she showed me how to take care of her horse. And she said, here's my phone number. Give me a call if you ever need me. But yes, please go ahead and ride her, groom her, feed her, take care of her. And let me know if you have any questions. And it was amazing. So now I have hands-on experience. I get to play with this beautiful being, this animal that I've loved all my life. And she's kind of watching me and calling me every now and then. How's it going? And so I'm getting guidance. And so now I'm learning how to live this love that I've always wanted. So when she was ready to come back and take care of her horse, that was about the same time I was ready to start to look for my horse. Now, I told you I've loved horses all my life, and so I had drawn this horse. I had made pictures, and I had a vision of her in my mind. It was a mare. I knew she was going to be a mare. I knew she was going to be beautiful. I knew she was going to be so sweet and so loving and so kind, and I knew that she would be a blood bay. Now, a blood bay, that is a coloring of their coat. It's a deep reddish brown with a black mane and tail. And I just knew that's what she was going to look like. And so I'm at the stables, and there's a trailer that's coming in, and it's bringing in a horse. And this horse is not well. This horse is a body shaved. It's got a blanket on, and it's skin and bones. This horse had been sold to somebody who couldn't take care of it, and so that's why it was being repossessed, and it was coming back to the stable so they could take care of it. So I looked at that horse, and it looked nothing like the horse I had dreamed of. So I'm just watching and still talking to other people as this horse is being brought in and taken into the barn. And later, after everything quieted down, I went to go take another look at the horse and just say hello. And I went up to the barn, and she comes up to me, and our eyes meet. And I looked at her. I said, it's you. You're my horse. And I knew that this was the horse I dreamt of. She looked nothing like what I had dreamt and drawn, but I knew it was her. And she needed loving, and I needed loving, and together we paired, and it was just so powerful. And I knew that it was the right thing, and that we were going to be together. And so she was mine, my Nikki. And I bought her, and and we took care of each other, and we nurtured each other, and she got stronger, and her muscles came in, and her coat came in, and her coat, when her coat came in, it was the blood bay I'd always dreamed of. She was the horse from the very beginning that was in my heart, in my mind. She was the one, and I knew it. And so, before I knew who she was, my heart knew who she was, my instinct knew who she was, and it was perfect. So I ended up moving, and I did need to sell her, and I sold her to somebody who was in Prescott, Arizona. She had a backyard barn and a trail that Nikki was going to have a beautiful, loving life, just as a pet, and taking this woman on trail rides in her backyard. And so it was perfect, and it was time for me to go and do new things in my life as well. And so that happened, and it was the most precious time of my life. And then I learned about Reconnective healing years later, and I had taken the training program, and I was a practitioner, and my next goal was to be a mentor. And the mentor training program was coming to Sedona, Arizona. And so that meant I was going to be passing through Prescott on the way in and on the way out for this training program. So I called the woman, and she still had Nikki, and she said, "Yes, please come and visit." So after the mentor training program in Sedona, I came back on my way back to come see Nikki. And as I had always done, I got out of my car and I just called to her, and she would nicker and whinny to me whenever I was at the stables. Well, now it's been many years, so I got out of my car and I called to her, and I didn't hear anything right away. But then I called again, and I heard, and she's nickering and she's whinnying, and she comes out of the barn because there's the outdoor paddock that was open, and she's looking around trying to find out, where's this voice? She was looking for me. She knew it was me. And we connected again. It was so magical and wonderful. We were together again. It was so powerful. And she has always been the love of my life. And we needed to see each other that one last time. A few months later, the woman called and told me that she had passed. But I feel that she was waiting for me, so we could have that one last hug. And it was just so powerful. And I share this with you to let you know that whatever's in your heart, you're being given guidance to let yourself live that. Listen and say yes. Listen and follow those urges. Listen to that information that showed up without you thinking about it. Because magic happens. That's what life is all about. Thanks for being here.